Hi, my name is Denise Knight, D-E-N-I-S-E-K-N-I-G-H-T, and I have a very unique story to state. I was a flight attendant for 26 years, 10 years on medical. My girlfriend came into the crew lounge one day and said, "Denise, look at my teeth." And I said, "Ah." She said I had them bleached and the silver fillings removed. I said, "I'm going to do that too." So I went back to my dentist in Kentucky and I said, "Take out the silver fillings." He did. The problems began. My memory started to deteriorate. The clarity was gone. A large amount of weight gain, and then it would come down again. And the pilots got together and said, "Denise, you need to go see Dr. Atkins of the Atkins Clinic." I said, "Why? He's a diet doctor." And they said, "No, he's a cardiologist in alternative medicine." So I said, okay. So I went to see him. I walked in. He looked at me and he said, "You are toxic." I didn't understand what that meant. He tested me. I was at a count of 70. Then he said, "I want you to take the rest of the fillings out," which we really should have left well enough alone. And he thought I was going to the office next to him, and nobody directed me, so I went back to Kentucky. I told my dentist in Kentucky, "I'm toxic. If there's a special procedure, please use it." And his remark was, "Oh, that's a bunch of baloney." And he took the rest of the fillings out. I now was in really bad shape. My colon collapsed. I had to have colonics weekly, heart valve problems, thyroid problems, hormonal problems, hypertension. I was a mess. So Dr. Atkins called me in Kentucky and said, "You need to come to New York. There's no chelation being offered in Kentucky. You need to have IVs of EDTA and vitamin C." And I said, okay. So the pilots got together, as they knew I had no family, and said there was one person that was not married, and the rest of them were married, and the one person that was not married, he said, "I'm going to help Denise." So I came to New York, lived in Middle Village, a little room above a garage, and I went 3 times a week to see Dr. Atkins. He felt really bad about what happened to me, because from a count of 70, what I had, and after they removed all those fillings, I shot up to 660. And I had no mind. I couldn't process anything, and my retention was 1.5 seconds. Disability was given to me within 2 hours. The assessment was made. I failed every test, and my IQ was 57. I was mildly retarded. My memory was gone. As an example for the memory, in the apartment, everything was in the wrong place. My frozen food was under the bed. That's where I would get a hamburger to make a burger for dinner. My vegetables were in the walk-in closet. My shoes were in the freezer. My keys and my pocketbook were in the refrigerator. And my indoor cat was outside. I kept putting him out because I thought he was the trash. My trash that was really trash was underneath the cocktail table. And I had 3 fires in the kitchen. One day I wanted a banana. I got in my car and I saw Kroger, the supermarket. That was our supermarket there in Louisville. And I went in, but I forgot to turn off the car. So I left the car running. I left the pocketbook on the front seat. And I walked into the supermarket. I got my banana, and I noticed as I was waiting in line, everybody was waiting in line to see this person at this machine, which is a cash register. And they were all going down to get something, which was a lady's pocketbook or a wallet. So when it came to my turn, I looked down, but I didn't have my pocketbook. That was in the car. And when I looked down, all I could see was my feet. So I figured I'd give him my shoe. And I gave him my shoe so I could have a banana. That made a lot of sense to me, because I had to give her something, because everybody else was giving this lady at this machine something. She didn't take the shoe. She let me have the banana, and I went back home. Usually the police were around my car, because the town started to realize I was lost all the time. I did the IVs for 3 3/4 years. We worked on me. We got the toxins out successfully. We boosted up the immune system. I was good to go in 2003. Dr. Atkins went to get a cup of coffee on the corner, tripped and fell on a piece of ice, hit his head, went into a coma, passed away. I was well for 4 days. 4 days. And then I received a phone call, I have cancer. We had to put the toxins right back in, knock out the immune system, and I had to go through chemo and radiation. I did. It was very hard. Then I was evicted from the apartment in Queens. They said they needed the apartment for space. So I went out to Long Island. I found a place, but you have to be working. So my friend, the pilot, once again stepped in and said, I'll sign the lease. She has to get treatment. He signed the lease so I could live there. And I became well. And it has just been the hardest journey because on top of that, my cat got cancer and he passed away. Then, you know, I had no money. I had a job for all these years as a flight attendant. I had to give that up because I couldn't be on a plane any longer with people coughing and sneezing in the same recycled air. So I had to retire. I now am on disability, and the very small pension that my company offered me. And I'm going to leave New York and start a fresh life somewhere else. And it's just been excruciatingly hard. My car, the first day I was out, I was so upset after 11 years of going through all this. One day, it just all hit me. And I ended up in the hospital for my heart this past June 2010. I was there for 14 days. I came home. I had to learn how to walk on a walker, then I went to the cane. I was well. It was my first day out, June 29th. I get into my car. I was in the car for maybe 7 minutes. The car went up in smoke in front of the bank. The bank had to be evacuated. I went back to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Now I don't have a car, but my company owed me vacation pay, so I had the down payment for a car, but the bankruptcy was at 24%. So it's been, you know, I chuckle and I laugh now, but I'm proud of myself for what I've gone through because it has been alone. I have one cat and I have a face, and that's what pulled me through this. Because in my world, I have so much to offer society. My designs in furniture that I design in glass, I have to continue. I'm not the person that would sit in a corner and stop. I just go forward. And so here I am, according to science, because it wasn't just mercury, it was also arsenic. I was swimming in it. They don't know where that came from. It had nothing to do with teeth. According to science, I shouldn't be here. So I'm privileged. I'm privileged to be alive every day and enjoy life. And I'm not ill. I do have my bouts going back and forth to the hospital, but I can think, I can function, and I feel at peace. This story of mine it shows, not that I'm patting myself on the back, it just shows a single person making the best out of the worst and getting through all the mud and all the bureaucracy and all the challenges and the mountains of heck, and continue to smile and make the best of what she had. That's what it's been like.